So I'm with John Custy, one of many ITSM luminaries at the show. Welcome.
Thank you.
Just interested in picking your mind on where you think we are in the industry at the moment. There's lots of debate about ITIL and it's over and it's COVID now and all sorts of stuff, and we don't have enough practitioners. What are your thoughts, John?
Well, I don't think it's over. I think one of the challenges is that we've got far too many people who are focused on semantics. We got everybody who wants to quote what's in a book. And I think in some cases we've got experts who are spending more time trying to find what's wrong with books rather than working to figure out how to make it work. I think there's some threads recently of we get a lot of people caught into semantics and we want to argue semantics, and I think so often we're losing focus on the customer. And the only reason we've got any and all of these things is to help IT people deliver better services to their customers. You know, when we get to service management, you know, ITIL sort of we look at as the core, and yet if we go back a year or two, if we go to even something like MOF, latest version of MOF, you know, that was done in parallel when version 3 was coming out. It was separate, and we got a set of best practices that our customers are using. And whether you want to use ITIL, you want to use 20,000, you want to use MOF, it's stuff to help customers get there. And too often we get everybody that's trying to do everything rather than figuring out what's the right thing for that customer to do at that point in time.
Do you think we've done the classic IT thing of just, you know, navel gazing at our own stuff too much rather than...
Yeah, I think we've done the classic thing of we've made ITIL the goal. And far too often we don't get what service management really is. And I think that part of the challenge becomes we do all these training classes, but we're not focused on results. And yeah, there's a challenge that we don't always get there, but I also think there's another challenge that's left off, and that is if we want to change how we deal with our customers, the customers have to know what we're doing. And far too often we go in and spend inordinate sums of money and time just dealing with IT groups. And yet who's out talking to my customer saying, we want to work differently with you, but in order to work differently with you, here's what we have to do. And at the end, we've kind of lost track of the fact that this only works when we've got the people who trust each other. And I think far too often we're stuck on process and technology, and we've lost the focus that it's about the people. And it's about the people we have in IT, and about their ability to have the trust and relationship with their customers. And if we put that trust and relationships there, so I think one of the challenges is how do we help people be better at working on the people side, both their people, but a lot it's really about leadership, which, you know, I think it's too easy to say that, but it really is about clear goals, it's about clear objectives, it's about holding people accountable, but it's working with your customers and having that right relationship to be successful for both groups.
Okay, and I mean, I think that all makes perfect sense. Just sort of finally, and sort of moving forward on that, I mean, what couple of things should we be doing as an industry, or particularly from the, you know, you mentioned training there, which is all pretty well defined, but I mean, from the point of view of delivery, what a couple of things would be recommendations?
Well, you know, I really think we've got to stop trying to tell people what to do and, you know, sort of give them the perpetual fire hose of just inundating them with things, and start to figure out how do we get a lot of our, let's take on the training to your point, how do we get it more experiential? How do we really get more focused on the outcomes that we're trying to achieve? And yeah, certifications can be important, and there's value to it, but I think far too often we're missing the fact that how do we measure the outcomes that people have from that training? And you don't measure that outcome by passing a test the last day. You don't measure that outcome by some evaluation form that somebody completes before they took the test. The real outcome is 3 months later, 6 months later, what were they able to do with that? And were they able to accomplish something? Did they come away thinking a little bit differently that was able to translate into something that helped their customers?
Something that actually take back to the organization?
Yeah. Because, you know, ultimately if they can't take something back to the organization, it's not going to be valuable. And I think always You can go back to an organization, and it's easy to tell me that you need $100,000, $50,000, £1 million, whatever, to do something. And yet I challenge you, if you really want to come back to service management, it's about improvement and delivering services for your customers. Every individual can improve something they do in their job. Every team can improve. Every group can improve. And if far more groups focused on what they could do to improve, it would be amazing how cumulatively, over the course of 12 weeks, 18 weeks, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, the cumulative effect of all of those changes about doing little things for their customers would really result in some tremendous improvements. Build the credibility, build the trust, which then translates to making the changes the organizations need.
Okay, that all sounds great advice. John, thank you very much.
Thank you, Arthur.
Thank you.